If you're watching this right now, know this. It is no accident. God Himself has led you here. Your life is standing at the edge of a powerful shift, and not everyone will be ready for what comes next. Devastation is near both spiritual and material, and God has revealed that you are in danger if you do not respond. This is not just a message, this is a test. A divine challenge designed to prepare you, to strengthen you, and to prove that you are truly ready to stand with God. The people around you have placed their faith in human leaders instead of the Almighty, but you have been chosen. God has sent you as a beacon, a guide for the lost, a light in the coming storm. Yet rebellion, sin, and spiritual blindness threaten everything. If you ignore this calling, if you remain unprepared, you too will be swept away by what is coming. The economic crisis is intensifying, spiritual darkness is spreading, and the storm, it's no longer a whisper in the distance, it's bearing down with full force. This is your moment to rise. This is your chance to prove you are the one who has been set apart, the one who is ready to fight for God's mission. Before we go any further, stop and take action now. Hit the like button. To stand in unity with this message, subscribe to help us reach 1,000 strong believers. Comment with the number 99, a powerful signal that your spirit is aligned and ready to receive God's urgent call. If you are truly chosen, you will stay with this message until the end. Your spirit already knows the truth. The time to act is now. Ignore this, and the devastation will not spare you. Answer the call, and your life will never be the same. The battle has begun. Will you rise? There is no time to hesitate. God's voice is loud and clear. A fierce storm is looming, threatening the spiritual foundations of our souls and the stability of our material world. This is not a distant prophecy. It is an urgent call. The signs are unmistakable. The devastation is certain. History has shown us that divine warnings are never hollow. They mark the beginning of great change. Just as a violent tempest can uproot trees and flood cities, this storm will shake individuals and entire nations to their core. Feel the gravity of this moment. The world is teetering on the edge of chaos, and still, many remain blind, deaf to the warnings, numb to the truth. The darkness is not just around us, it is creeping into hearts and minds. But we are not meant to cower. We are called to awaken, to hear God's voice through the noise, to see clearly when others are lost in confusion. God is not speaking to everyone. He is speaking to you, personally, directly. You have been chosen to remain steadfast when others collapse in fear. This warning is both a mercy and a test. It is divine intervention meant to protect, to awaken, and to prepare. This storm is not merely economic or environmental. It is spiritual. It will test your faith, your endurance, your clarity, and your obedience. To survive, you must grasp the depth of what is coming, and then you must choose. The storm is coming not with fear, but with fierce determination. God's message is a trumpet blast across the skies. Brace yourself. Devastation is near, but within this trial lies the seed of transformation planted for those brave enough to listen and rise. Imagine being called to a mission of immense importance, one that could alter the course of history, yet you feel unprepared, uncertain, and vulnerable. That is exactly where you stand today. God has chosen you for a divine purpose, one that transcends comfort and convenience. But with that call comes a painful truth. You are not ready. This is not condemnation. It's a divine wake-up call. Your hesitation, your doubts, your unfinished preparation, they've left you exposed. The enemy does not wait. The time to act is now. Being chosen does not guarantee protection from hardship. If anything, it means your path will be marked by even fiercer battles. But the greatest threat is not the storm itself, it's your response to it. Will you rise to meet the challenge? Or will you be caught off guard, swept away in chaos and confusion? God's call demands more than knowledge or ability. It requires readiness of the heart and spirit. It calls for unwavering faith, relentless obedience, and a willingness to walk through fire without backing down. The tension of this moment is unmistakable. God sees the potential in you. He has invested deeply. Yet your current state, your spiritual unreadiness, is a dangerous gap. This is a test of character, a crossroads where many stumble. But God's intention is not to break you, it's to refine you, to awaken the leader He knows you can be. Your unreadiness today does not determine your destiny. It is an invitation, a divine summons to rise high. Life's most defining moments often appear as trials, as crucibles that burn away the shallow and expose the true core. This is such a moment, and God is watching. Will you rise above fear, above comfort, above distraction? Or will you fall into the shadows of the overlooked, the ordinary, the defeated? This is a test of faith, but it is also a test of responsibility. You were chosen not for survival, but for leadership. To stand firm when others fall, to shine as a beacon in the darkness when all lights seem to go out. Think of the heroes who came before you. Daniel thrown into the lion's den, Esther risking everything in the king's court. They faced impossible odds and prevailed because they understood their divine purpose. It's your turn. The test will not be easy. It will stretch you, shake you, strip away every illusion. But inside that pressure lies your potential for breakthrough. The choice is yours. Will you embrace the struggle as holy refinement, or retreat into the safety of obscurity? This trial also reveals the depth of your obedience. God's plan is flawless, but it demands your full cooperation. Obedience isn't passive, it's an act of daily surrender, a conscious decision to trust God's leading even when the path is shrouded in uncertainty. When the noise of the world drowns out the divine voice, will you still choose to listen? This is the ultimate power play, where faith and action collide. The outcome hinges on your courage to say yes when it's hardest to do so. Being chosen by God is not merely a survival badge, it is a call to destiny. You are not selected to merely endure life's storms, but to transform them. Survival is the bare minimum. God's plan is for you to rise above the chaos and emerge as a leader, a voice of clarity in confusion, an influence that redirects the course of families, communities, even nations. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to hide. You are meant to shine as a radiant light in the darkest places, pointing others toward truth, hope, and salvation. While the world places its trust in celebrities, politicians, influencers, and crumbling systems built on flawed human wisdom, you were chosen to remind them all. True power comes from God alone. Your mission is to correct the course of the ordinary, to pull people back from destruction and steer them toward God's promise. This calling demands unshakable courage and deep conviction. Standing apart from the crowd will invite criticism. It will bring isolation. But the greatest leaders in history, Moses, Elijah, Paul, walked a lonely road before they reshaped the world. Every day, people trust in broken systems and hollow promises. They cling to what is fleeting and forsake what is eternal. You have been called to break this destructive cycle and restore faith in the divine. The journey ahead will be fierce, but the reward is eternal. God's purpose for you isn't just to survive the storm, but to lead others through it, to be a pillar of strength when everything else crumbles. This is your sacred destiny. Preparation is more than planning. It is a holy discipline. God's call to prepare is urgent, intense, and uncompromising. There is no more time to delay. Preparation means training your heart, sharpening your mind, and fortifying your spirit for the war ahead. It means building a faith so strong it moves mountains, developing wisdom through God's word, and growing spiritual resilience that stands unshaken in crisis. Think of a soldier before battle. He doesn't just wear armor. He trains tirelessly. He sharpens every skill. He studies the enemy's tactic. Your spiritual preparation must be just as rigorous. Every moment you spend in prayer, every truth you hide in your heart, every act of obedience, these are your weapons. This is your training ground. Preparation is not passive waiting, it is active pursuit of God's purpose. Now is the time to abandon distraction. Now is the time to silence the noise. The signs are everywhere. Economic instability, moral collapse, spiritual emptiness. These are not random. They are divine alarms, warnings. And God is calling you to move before it's too late. Prepare your spirit to remain unshaken. Prepare your mind to cut through lies with truth. Prepare your heart to lead others with unwavering love and fierce compassion. Look around. The world clings to false saviors and fragile systems, but you are chosen to point them back to the only true source of. You were never meant to. You were born to lead. Your trust must rest solely in Him. This is not a casual suggestion, it's a radical shift, a total breaking away from the false securities of the world and anchoring your hope in the eternal and unshakable. Trusting God means believing even when everything around you looks bleak. It means standing tall when the economy collapses, when leaders betray your confidence, and when deception floods your news feeds and social media. Unlike the fragile systems of men, God's promises do not crack under pressure, they endure forever. This trust is not blind. It is rooted in the deep, historical evidence of God's faithfulness across generations and within your own life. Choosing to place your full confidence in Him is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. While the world panics and spirals into despair, you will remain anchored, filled with peace and clarity, because your foundation is divine. Your trust becomes a testimony, a beacon of light that pierces through the confusion and darkness. In a society that invests faith in the fallible, you stand apart as a living example of unwavering devotion to the eternal. The world groans beneath the crushing weight of sin and rebellion, and the consequences of this disobedience are becoming unavoidable. This is not merely divine punishment, it is the inevitable result of turning away from God's truth. Look around. Moral decay is accelerating. Families are fracturing. Corruption seeps through leadership. Injustice runs rampant. These are not random events, they are signs, warnings, indicators that the very foundation of our society is cracking. Just as a diseased tree cannot bear good fruit, a society steeped in sin cannot prosper. Destruction becomes the natural end of disobedience. And now the question falls to you. How will you respond when everything around you begins to collapse? God's judgment is not just wrath, it is also mercy. It is a loud, shaking call to repentance, to transformation, to return. You have a role, and it is critical. You are called to stand firm, to lead with truth, to be a voice that cuts through the chaos, bringing people back to righteousness. But if you ignore this call, if you stay silent or paralyzed, you become part of the very downfall you were chosen to prevent. Every moment of hesitation adds weight to the danger. Time is not your ally. Every delay tightens the grip of destruction. God's call is not vague, it is urgent. The opportunity to act is now. Miss this moment, and you may miss the chance to shift outcomes, to redirect lives, to fulfill your assignment. This is not just about what's happening around you, it's about your spiritual survival. Picture a firefighter standing frozen in front of a blaze. Every second wasted costs live. In the same way, your spiritual hesitation is not neutral, it's fatal. The enemy thrives in delay. He exploits your fears, your excuses, and your distractions. A delayed response isn't just a missed opportunity. It places you directly in the line of fire, but you were not made to fall. God's message is crystal clear. Respond now. Push past the fear, conquer the doubt, prepare your heart, your spirit, your mind. Embrace obedience like armor. Step boldly into the purpose that's been waiting for you. The mission placed on your life depends on your readiness. Do not let hesitation write the end of your story. The window is open, but it won't. Stay that way forever. The time to act is now. But the window is closing fast. God has placed a treasure within you, potential gifts and a divine calling that is unlike any other. This is no accident. It is a deliberate, sacred investment. But with great investment comes great expectation. You are now in the middle of a divine power play, a cosmic contest where your faith, obedience, and courage will determine the outcome. Picture a master craftsman pouring time and skill into creating a masterpiece. The work is precious, the value immense. But the artist also expects the piece to reflect excellence. In the same way, God's investment in you is priceless. And now he calls you to prove that his faith in you was not misplaced. Not by might, not by your strength alone, but by your willingness to surrender, to obey, and to act boldly in his name. This is your moment to shine, to show the world that his investment in you was not in vain. The divine power play is both a challenge and an invitation. It calls you to step beyond the boundaries of comfort and into your ordained position, a leader chosen to shape destinies and shift atmospheres. The choices you make in this moment will echo through generations. Rise to the occasion. Let the world witness that you are God's chosen instrument, ready to fulfill his purpose with power and grace. But be warned, what lies ahead is not limited to visible losses. The devastation coming will strike both the seen and unseen realms. Spiritual devastation will shake faith, breed confusion, and test souls like never before. Simultaneously, material collapse will disrupt economies, destroy livelihoods, and leave entire nations gasping for stability. This is a dual crisis, and human solutions will not be enough. It demands divine intervention. The signs are already here. Spiritual apathy is spreading through churches. False teachings are deceiving hearts. Economic instability is shaking global markets. This is the perfect storm, and it will drown the unprepared. Yet in this chaos lies divine opportunity. The way trials will be severe, but so will the opportunities to witness God's glory, power, and provision. You are called to stand at the intersection of these devastations, bridging the gap between heaven and earth. You must guard your soul while navigating material breakdown. You must become a beacon, an anchor for the lost and weary, a source of stability in the storm. The stakes are higher than ever, but with God's help, you can lead others through this calamity to a place of restoration and triumph. History is full of empires that rose and fell, often collapsing not because of external enemies, but because their foundations were eaten away by moral decay, corrupt leadership, and spiritual neglect. The warning is clear. Some nations and regions today stand at the edge of that same collapse. This is sobering, but it is not the end. Your role transcends borders. You are called to stand firm, no matter the chaos surrounding you. When kingdoms crumble, when markets fail, when governments collapse, the world will be tempted to surrender to despair. But God has called you to be a rock in the middle of that storm, a living testimony of unshakable faith. Your strength, your unwavering belief, and your obedience will be a stabilizing force not only for your own survival, but for everyone looking to you for guidance. Standing firm is more than survival. It is an act of spiritual defiance against darkness, a living testimony that even in ruin, God reigns. To God's enduring power. The fall of nations is not chaos without meaning. It is part of a larger divine plan, a thunderous wake-up call for humanity to return to the Creator. Your steadfastness in the midst of these trials will inspire others to resist fear, hold on to hope, and trust fully in God's sovereign hand. You are a light that cannot be extinguished, a pillar that will uphold the foundation of a new era, one marked by faith, righteousness, and divine restoration. In times of crisis, deception multiplies. False prophets will rise, corrupt leaders will mislead, dangerous trends will flood our screens, saturating social media and news outlets with poison disguised as progress. These are not just cultural phenomena, they are the fingerprints of the Antichrist spirit, subtly and boldly leading souls into confusion, distraction, and despair. You must remain vigilant. The world will offer you easy answers, instant gratification, and hollow promises. These are traps, bait meant to lure you from your purpose and weaken your resolve. Deception rarely appears as danger. It often wears the face of wisdom, speaks with charm, and appeals to your desires. But it leads only to ruin. God calls you to discernment. Every word, every message, every movement must be tested against his unchanging truth. Rejecting deception is not merely defensive, it is offensive spiritual warfare. By standing for what is right and eternal, you become a lighthouse in a storm of lies. Your devotion to truth is your protection, and it becomes a covering for others who are lost in confusion. In a world choked by falsehoods, your clarity and courage will be a lifeline. Obedience is the key that unlocks divine provision. In uncertainty and scarcity, God promises to supply every need, spiritual, emotional, and material. His provision may not arrive how you expect, but it always arrives when needed, and it is always enough. Think of the Israelites in the wilderness. Day by day, manna fell from heaven, not stored up, but supplied fresh with each sunrise as long as they trusted and obeyed. So it is with you. Your obedience invites God's intervention. When you align with His will, doors open, resources multiply, strength pours in where weakness once reigned. This provision is tailored, personal, and mission-focused. It is not about luxury, but about empowerment, giving you exactly what you need to fulfill exactly what He's called you to do. It is a partnership, a divine exchange, your faithfulness for His unending grace. Trust that as you obey, blessings will not only follow, they will sustain you through every valley, every storm, every battle. This test is not meant to destroy you. It is designed to build you into a vessel capable of carrying great influence and divine impact. Passing this test is not just about endurance, it is about transformation. It is about rising to walk in your full purpose, thriving in God's favor, and carrying a spiritual authority that changes lives. Imagine blessings that do not merely arrive, but chase you down. Blessings that transform not only your life, but the lives of everyone connected to your mission. These blessings are not random. They are the fruit of obedience, faith, and perseverance. When you stand firm, when you trust without wavering, the windows of heaven open. Opportunities unfold, relationships flourish, your spiritual reach expands. This is the inheritance of the chosen, a continuous flow of God's goodness, strength, and strategy, empowering you to walk in purpose with excellence. And never forget, blessings are always tied to your mission, not to your comfort. They are meant to propel you forward into destiny, not keep you still. Is not just comfort. Blessings are meant to equip you to serve, to lead, and to impact the world for generations. Passing this test positions you as a powerful force for good, a beacon of hope whose light cannot be dimmed or extinguished. The hour has come. You can no longer afford to hide in the shadows or wait for a more convenient time. God's call is urgent, His voice unmistakable. Rise up, reveal your God-given purpose. Lead with unwavering courage and holy conviction. Your time to shine is now, and the world desperately needs your light. Rising means embracing your identity as one chosen by God. It means stepping forward even when fear tries to paralyze you, even when doubt whispers lies, even when opposition stands tall. Revealing means living in full authenticity, letting your life testify to the power of surrender, obedience, and divine purpose. Leading means becoming the steady hand in a trembling world, guiding others through the darkness with truth, compassion, and strength. This is your divine appointment, a moment that will define your legacy. And as you rise, know this, you do not rise alone. God's strength goes before you. His presence stands beside you. Heaven's host surrounds you, Lead boldly, love fiercely, and watch how God uses your obedience to transform lives, cities, and nations in ways beyond your imagination. Every time you face this calling, remember, the heavens are watching. God's eyes are upon you, not in judgment, but in divine anticipation. This is not just a personal trial, it's a divine spectacle. Your faith, your choices, your willingness to rise are being recorded, echoed, and felt in eternity. The angels gather to witness your obedience or your retreat. Your response carries eternal weight, shaping not only your destiny, but the spiritual atmosphere for generations to come. Yes, the pressure is immense, but you are never alone. God's presence is your shield. His voice is your compass. His hand is your strength. Your response declares that you trust His plan more than the chaos around you. Heaven's gaze is not meant to intimidate you. It is meant to ignite you, to fuel your courage, to remind you that you are part of something far greater than yourself. This sacred accountability is a privilege, an honor given only to the chosen. Understand the magnitude of this moment. Your actions are setting spiritual precedent. Others, both in the unseen realm and in the physical world, are watching to see if you will rise or shrink back, if you will stand or stumble. This is your divine test, and your response will send ripples across eternity. Your courage in the face of fear will inspire legions. Your faith will become a torch for those yet to be born. Let heaven's gates strengthen your resolve. When you feel unsure, when you feel overwhelmed, remember, you are part of a divine story that stretches beyond time. God's eternal plan includes you, your courage, your obedience, your victory. This moment is not just for today. It is a testament for all time. You were never called to blend in, never called to conform to the world's standards. You were not created for ease or comfort. You were born to realign what has been broken, to challenge the false truths that has led many astray. Your divine mission is to confront, to correct, and to restore, to stand as a vessel of truth in a world drowning in deception. Conformity is the enemy of destiny, and your destiny cannot be fulfilled by following the crowd. Dulls the spirit and blinds the soul. You were never meant to be silent or passive. Your role is to be a light that pierces through the darkness of complacency and disobedience. Think of the prophets of old, bold voices that stood unshaken against injustice, corruption, and deception, even when it cost them everything. Like them, you have been sent to speak uncomfortable truths, to hold a mirror to a broken world, and to call people back to the path of righteousness. This is not a task for the faint of heart. It requires courage, it demands conviction, and it calls for the willingness to stand alone if necessary. Correction is not condemnation, it is an act of love, a sacred responsibility to guide others back to God's truth with compassion and boldness. While the world embraces lies, shortcuts, and compromise, you carry the torch of divine wisdom and integrity. Your refusal to conform is not rebellion, it is righteousness, a declaration that God's ways are higher, better, eternal. In a time when many choose comfort over truth, popularity over principle, your stand will ignite transformation. You are not here to follow the crowd, you are here to lead it to salvation. This correction is not optional, it is your sacred duty, a weight only the chosen can bear. In the face of this mission, emotions will rise, fear, doubt, anxiety, but you must understand, this is not merely an emotional journey. This is a war of the spirit. The stakes are eternal, and your weapons are not of this world. Faith, prayer, obedience. These are the forces that will carry you through. Emotions can betray you. They shift like the wind, but your spirit anchored in truth remains steady. The enemy knows your weaknesses. He will use fear to paralyze, anger to distract, despair to break your will. But do not fight this battle with your feelings. Fight it with your faith. This is spiritual warfare. It is fought in the unseen realm, and you are not unarmed. Prayer is your fortress. Scripture is your sword. The Holy Spirit is your guide. Yes, your emotions are real, but they do not define your destiny. What defines you is your commitment to God, your endurance through the fire, your trust when nothing else makes sense. Staying rooted in God's presence changes the outcome. Even when the world around you crumbles, even when every voice tells you to give up, hold your ground. Winning this war requires perseverance that goes deeper than emotion. It demands a warrior's heart devoted to God's purpose. This is the proving ground of the chosen. Through this fire, your faith will be refined into unbreakable strength. As the days grow darker and deception multiplies, God's mission will begin to reveal who truly stands with Him and who only pretended to. This is a time of unveiling, a divine shaking. Motives will be exposed, loyalties tested, masks removed. The pressure will draw a clear line between genuine faith and empty performance. Those who truly walk with God will be known by their unwavering commitment, even in adversity. They will be distinguished by their faithfulness, not their by their obedience, not their This exposure may feel pain. It may isolate. You may lose friends. You may feel abandoned, but in truth, it is It is God freeing you from the illusion of shallow alliances and half-hearted followers. He is clearing the path for your purpose. In this clarity will rise. Chains of hypocrisy will be broken, and what remains will be pure, unshakable, and ready to carry the mission forward. And aligning you with true believers, the mission you've been given will sharpen your spiritual vision, making it unmistakably clear who truly shares your heart for God's kingdom. But exposure isn't only about recognizing others, it's also a divine summons for self-examination. God is calling you to remove anything within yourself that hinders obedience or clouds your witness. This process is a refining fire, painful yet holy, burning away doubt, fear, and compromise to reveal the pure gold of unwavering faith beneath. Take heart in this exposure. Though it may sting, it is God's way of strengthening His remnant, His church, and preparing His warriors for the intensity of the battles ahead. This mission is a crucible, a test that confirms who is truly with Him and who is merely nearby. To fulfill your calling, God demands separation from that which is spiritually dead, from those who live in rebellion, and from environments hostile to the Spirit. This separation is not arrogance. It is not judgment. It is survival. It is sanctity. You cannot walk closely with those who deny truth without risking contamination. Spiritually dead influences introduce discouragement, foster compromise, and breed confusion. Their rejection of God's ways poisons the soil of your faith. To thrive, you must draw boundaries that protect your soul and sharpen your discernment. Yes, this separation will hurt. It may mean distancing yourself from friends, family, or colleagues who do not share your commitment, but this is the price of clarity, the cost of purity, and in exchange, you will receive peace, a flow of divine life, unobstructed and powerful. Understand, the separation is temporary, but its purpose is eternal. It prepares you for deeper fellowship with God and equips you to carry light into darkness without being dimmed by it. Your mission depends on holiness. It requires truth without compromise. You cannot mix sacred fire with spiritual decay and expect to carry God's power. The time for waiting has ended. The hour of decision is upon you. No more delay, no more hesitation. The moment is now, and it demands immediate action. This is the defining crossroad. Your faith will either launch you forward or chain you to mediocrity. God's call is urgent, and every second wasted risks forfeiting divine momentum. History is filled with those who hesitated and missed their moment. You must not be one of them. You are being summoned to courage. Fear and uncertainty will knock, but you must answer with resolve. God is not demanding perfection. He is calling for readiness, for surrender, for total commitment. This hour requires your whole heart, your full obedience, and your unwavering, Yes, every great move of God has always begun with a single decisive step of faith. This is yours. The time to move is now. Say yes, embrace the unknown, step into the challenge with holy confidence, rise without delay. The digital age has transformed the world into a vast battlefield where truth and deception clash daily. Social media platforms, once innocent spaces of connection, are now overrun with misinformation, half-truths, and outright lies. This digital flood is not passive. It is a strategic assault on the minds and hearts of millions. It seeks to distort God's truth, silence his messengers, and drown the voice of conviction in a sea of confusion. Confuse, divide, and weaken the faithful. As one of God's chosen, you are called to become a warrior of light in this virtual war zone. Your voice, your posts, and your online presence carry immense influence, far more than you realize. Use them with purpose. Use them to counter lies with truth, fear with hope, and division with unity. Every message you share can be a speed of light in a dark and desperate place, but be vigilant. The traps are subtle narratives polished to appeal to emotion and crafted to cloud judgment. These aren't just misstatements, they are strategic. Distortions designed to derail the faithful. Equip yourself with discernment, rooted deeply in God's word, so you can walk through this chaotic landscape with clarity and confidence. Your presence on social media is not random. It is a mission. Field. Stand firm. Speak boldly. Let your digital light shine without hesitation. In this battle for hearts and minds, your faith-filled testimony holds the power to break chains, awaken souls, and bring freedom. When God calls you to speak, silence is no longer neutral. It becomes disobedience. Your voice is a divine instrument meant to proclaim truth, strengthen the weary, and expose deception. To stay silent in the face of injustice, falsehood, and spiritual decay is to forfeit your responsibility as God's messenger. Yes, this call may be uncomfortable. It may cost you followers, friendships, and perceived peace. But history is filled with tragedy caused by silence in critical moments. Your words carry authority. When rooted in God's truth, they can heal wounds, convict hearts, and transform lives. God does not call the fearless, he equips the willing. He empowers the timid and emboldens the quiet when they choose to stand. When you speak, you join the ranks of prophets, reformers, and revivalists who refuse to be silent and changed history because of it. Embrace your voice as a sacred weapon. Speak boldly, speak consistently, speak with love. Your obedience in speaking will ignite revival and usher in breakthrough. The breakdown of governments, economies, and societal systems may appear as the end, but for you, it is a divine setup. In the ashes of collapse lie the seeds of new beginnings, leadership, and God-ordained transformation. Where others see ruin, God sees opportunity. This is where your purpose will rise. This is where you will flourish. Throughout history, the greatest revivals have emerged from collapse. When old systems fail, God raises up new voices, leaders who rebuild, redirect, and restore. You are called to be that leader, to step into the chaos, not with fear, but with faith, not with panic, but with vision. Your rise is not an accident, it is the fulfillment of God's divine timing. So prepare, equip yourself spiritually and mentally. Let your mind be renewed and your spirit be fortified. The world is hungry for change. It groans for hope, and your rise will bring it. You will carry restoration into broken places, revival into dry lands, and clarity into confusion. Do not wait for perfection. It is a mirage, an illusion that paralyzes countless people from stepping into their divine assignment. God is not waiting for your perfection. He's waiting for your surrender. He doesn't require flawlessness. He requires faithfulness. The world doesn't need another perfect image. It needs a real, surrendered vessel burning with holy purpose. The time is now. Let go of excuses. Cast off the fear of faith. Embrace the fire. Your calling is greater than your comfort. Your mission is more urgent than your fears. Rise, speak, lead. The battlefield is ready, and so are you.